When you see something remotely and then when you come, it's always a massive surprise, a bit like what you saw through the internet or whatever it might be was like a dream. Then when you arrive, it's another kind of dream. Fit the two things together. You know, in my time in Vicksburg, I haven't really had an enormous amount of interaction with people other than just going into shops or cafes or that sort of thing. I quite like that because everything I see is just through my eyes and I'm trying to make sense of it in my context. A big focus of my work, spaces and places and how humans change places, whether it's intentionally or just through their actions, which record what went on here in the past, but they're no longer doing those functions. They're just like relics. So it's a kind of like an archaeology, I think, or something like that. When you look at it, it just becomes like you're picking around in the past. There's a great word in Japanese, it's tekito, which means like doing something not particularly well or seriously. And it's a sort of idea that if you become casual, you relax. For me, something special happens. So I don't think there's any like kind of eureka moment of like, this is it. For me, it might just be a brushstroke, or I find some color that feels very right. And like a lot of my process is about just walking around, experiencing, looking, taking photographs, and then I'll go back to the studio and I'll let that flow out in a different way. And sometimes nearly always it's relatively unconscious. I just need to loosen up and just start painting. And then at the beginning I'll begin to think, what are we doing here? What's happening? And then I'll walk away from it. I've got this now. This is great. And then you wake up in the morning, and you walk into the studio, and you look at it, and you think, oh, okay, that was something I imagined. That was something that didn't really work. So it's very, very backwards and forwards, very, very much like wandering. And then another day, a completely different thought will come in, and it becomes layered into the images. So when I'm just watching Netflix and painting and thinking and then like I suddenly find something happens that's special. There's a feeling maybe that as an artist you're expected to be sitting in zen-like contemplation about it, and then the moment. So if you tell people, I do a bit of painting and then I'll go to the movies and come back and then I feel differently about it. Yeah, that's the truth of it, really, as much, Like where I am now with my work, I feel very much like I'm gathering everything together and that it's stitching it into a thing that's a descriptive of what I've always been interested in at different points in my life.